and the student movement. Okay, students started a movement due to increasing unemployment, increasing cost of living. So students started a movement, and this was joined by many political parties. So eventually, it became a very huge, unrest. Okay, and there was rioting more than 2.5 months, almost 10 weeks. There was like law and order was not under control. Okay, so due to this, there was president's rule in Gujarat, and eventually Moraji Desai and all so many other leaders, they started protesting. Okay, or fast unto death. Due to this, Indira Gandhi government, which was ruling in the central, they dissolved the assembly and they announced fresh elections. Okay, this is what was happening in Gujarat. So just along simultaneously, or along with this, after this, just after this, there was a unrest in Bihar also in 1974. There was kind of unrest started emerging in Bihar. Basically, they were saying that Gero assembly was captured the assembly kind of thing, and there was repeated clashes between the people who were protesting and the police. Okay, so there were a lot of deaths also. Around 27 deaths took place just in a week. So all of this event led to famous Jayaprakash Narayan come out of his political retirement and join this movement. Okay, he joined this movement and he said that government is corrupt. Okay, so there was like a demand that the Congress government in Bihar should resign, and there should be dissolution of assembly of assembly, and then Jayaprakash Narayan gave up the call that now it's time that people set up a parallel people's government and stop paying taxes. Okay, just in protest of whatever happening in the state. Okay, so but Indira Gandhi did not wanted to concede to this demand, because Indira Gandhi knew that if she will listen to this demand, just like what happened in what gave rise to Bihar movement, basically some influence from Gujarat unrest. Okay, so same thing can happen throughout the country. Okay, so that was the main reason why Indira Gandhi did not concede to the demand, and she she did not agree to dissolve the assembly. Okay, till here, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
eventually what happened, Jayaprakash Narayan, he started roaming the whole country. Okay, he wanted to take the movement now beyond Bihar. He wanted to spread the movement. He wanted to make people aware about the political conditions of the basically of government ruling party. Okay, so he started touring the whole nation, and he started speaking against the government. So hence Indira Gandhi openly challenged him to participate in the election. So Jayaprakash Narayan took up this challenge. Okay, and he formed a National Coordination Committee. Okay, a committee called National Coordination Committee for this electoral electoral promotion. Okay, so they wanted to contest election now. Okay, so these two events were taking place simultaneously. What happened? There was Allahabad High Court judgment. Okay, case Indira Nehru Gandhi versus Raj Narayan case. Okay, under this Raj Narayan case or Narayan case, you can say that the whole electoral process. Okay, I mean there was a case of corruption which was put up against Indira Gandhi. She had indulged in corrupt practices during campaigning or during the elections, previous elections. Okay. So Allahabad High Court declared that election is invalid. Okay, so what does this mean? That if there is if the court declares election is invalid, what happens? Basically, that Indira Gandhi had to, because she was dismissed. I mean, she had to resign because of because Allahabad High Court declared that election was invalid. Okay, so what happened after this was Indira Gandhi refused to accept this decision, and she approached Supreme Court. And meanwhile, there was Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer. He said that she could stay in as a PM, and she could even participate in the parliamentary procedure or speak in it, but she cannot vote in it. Okay, so there was a lot of confusion going on at the same time, and just when this issue was going on, I already told you that there was Gujarat unrest. Okay, after Gujarat unrest, the assembly was dissolved, and there was Indira Gandhi government called for a fresh assembly elections. Okay, so now it's time for Gujarat assembly election results. So how was the result? Okay, the result was basically not as expected by Indira Gandhi or Congress. Okay, around 87 seats were won by Janata government, and only 75 seats were won by Congress. So Janata government now came and formed the government. Okay, that too, it had to it couldn't solely claim the claimed to form the government because it had a shortage of seats. So it joined itself with the alliance. I mean, there was an alliance and they formed the government. So the Janata government formed the government with in alliance with Chinman Bai Patel. Chinman Bai Patel. This is the same person who was charged of corruption and due to whose chief minister ministerial ship, there was unrest. Okay, the Gujarat unrest, I told you, there was increase in the prices, there was corruption, all of this was she's all of this instance were directly directly blamed on this Chinman Bai Patel. Okay, he was the chief minister during that time, and during Chinman Bai Patel only the Gujarat unrest came. So irony was now the Janata Alliance came together with Chinman Bai Patel itself and they formed the government. Okay, it was a coalition government. So okay, I already told you in the previous class what happens in the coalition government, how things go on. Okay, so all of this event, okay, there were like 3-4 events which were going together. All of this, and Jayaprakash Narayan's, he started touring everywhere and he started saying that even though Allahabad High Court judgment has declared the election to be invalid, still Indira Gandhi, Mrs. Gandhi, is holding on to the or clinging to the position of PM. Okay, so there was high scale demand that from the opposition that she should now give up on her position. Okay, so all of this led to provoke Indira Gandhi to declare emergency on 26th June 1975. Okay, so on the midnight of 26th June, it was emergency was declared. Okay, till here, is it okay? Understood? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now next is emergency. Okay, emergency was declared on 26th June 1975. It was there till 21st March 1977. So the time frame was around like 21 months. You can see, emergency was almost, it lasted almost for like 2 years. Okay, so during emergency, when the emergency was declared, the president was Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. Okay, so it said that even the Council of Ministers, cabinet ministers also did not know about the emergency. They just got to know about it the next day morning, basically. So it was the sole decision of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and it was approved by the president. Okay, so all of this, after emergency, I already explained to yesterday's class. There are certain clauses and certain changes, and even there was during emergency, they had brought in a lot of changes to the constitution. That is through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. This 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act is also known as mini constitution. It's called mini constitution because there were a lot of changes brought in through this 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act to the Indian Constitution. For the first time, the preamble was amended and 3 new words were added to the preamble. And there was changes in fundamental rights, there were changes in DPSP, and they were even speaking, they even brought in like changes in fundamental duties, and so many changes took place in the whole constitution. Here, during emergency, the importance of the parliament drastically came down because the power went in the hands of one single person, that is prime minister, and the Supreme Court and High Court also kind of lost its significance due to the changes in the through 42nd Constitutional Amendment, and there was large scale arrest. Okay, under MISA Act, Maintenance of Internal Security Act, under the infamous, you can say, MISA Act, which was basically for the purpose of maintaining internal security of the nation. But what happened, this act was misused and a lot of leaders, political leaders were arrested, and those who opposed Indira Gandhi all were arrested and put under bar. Okay, so it was a large scale, even the people like who opposed, even the criminals, everyone were arrested under this act and put together. Okay, put up in the jail. Okay, so all of this was happening, and eventually people people started people started bringing out their voice. But what happened, this voice was submerged due to press regulation. Also, there was censorship on press. Media was not allowed to publish on how it does in the normal situation. So media was put under censorship. So it is said that even certain newspapers used to publish empty pages. Okay, empty pages in protest against the government and its emergency. Okay, till here, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay. So after this, what happened after that? Eventually, they had to remove emergency, and yeah, they had to remove emergency. And emergency, I told you yesterday what was the consequences of emergency or impacts of emergency. One was media censorship. Second, there was arrest of political leaders and large scale arrest under MISA Act. And third is election. Okay, elections were delayed, delayed, and there was something called sterilization program. Okay, during the same time, Mrs. Indira Gandhi's son Sanjay Gandhi. Okay, Sanjay Gandhi had no, a lot of control. Okay, it said that he was basically giving a lot of orders. He had direct intervention in politics of the nation. Okay, in the making some policies and changes. Okay, so now the government found a need to control the population for the development purpose. Okay, controlling populations always been one of the main aims. So it was same in the Rajiv Gandhi. I mean, this during this election period. I mean, emergency period. I'm so sorry, emergency period. So there was mass sterilization. Even those unmarried people also were caught and they were sterilized. And people were just sterilized without collecting proper data, details, or anything. Okay, so this created kind of frustration among the people. And there was parliamentary system was very it became very ineffective. Even Congress party was controlled to the best maximum level, you can say. Internal Congress in party only was strictly controlled by the prime minister and the close associates of prime minister. Okay, so eventually there was election, and in 1976-77 election, Janta government came into power. Okay, Janta government formed a coalition and it came into power. Okay, so Morarji Desai became the prime minister of India now. And now there was like we had to bring a lot of reforms, because 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act had given taken out a lot of powers from the parliament and powers from the judiciary as well. Okay, so even the executive was affected, legislature, everything was affected. So now 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 was brought in. 78, I'm sorry. 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978 was brought in. Here there were a lot of changes. According changes were made. Changes such as fundamental right to property, which was fundamental right, that was removed. And then there was a constitutional protection for the newspaper and publications were given. And there was restoration of power of Supreme Court. And it said that the fundamental rights cannot be suspended even during emergency. The fundamental rights, Article 20 and 21, these two cannot be suspended even during emergency. All of these provisions were brought in to protect the constitution or protect the democratic structure. Okay, so what were the main insight or lessons India learned, or our whole system learned, was due to this emergency. We could see the loopholes in the emergency system. Okay, and because Indira Gandhi just announced emergency in the midnight without even consulting the Council of Ministers. So we could see this biggest loophole. And then the word internal disturbances, it can have any wide explanation. So that was changed into armed rebellion. And then there was like this value of civil liberty was upheld. Okay, because during emergency civil liberties were curtailed. Now we got to know the importance of civil liberties. So now again people started how we, uh, the political leaders and everyone started speaking about the importance of civil liberty. And there was administration of police. Okay, due to high authority of politicians over police, the brutalities were brought in front. And we understood the need to reform the system. Okay, how the police should be kept separate from politics. Okay, all of this we could understand during emergency. Okay, till here is it clear? Is it
Yes, ma'am.
clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there any doubts?
No, man. It's clear.
So yesterday I told you that after after the election of 1976, from 1977 to 79, Janta government ruled. Okay, and it was under Moraji Desai. Okay, I already explained you about Moraji Desai in detail in the previous classes. So we'll just go into the political side. Okay, how it was. So after the after Indira Gandhi was lost the election, Morarji Desai came into power, and basically he started promoting certain things, such as sorry okay, he started basically improving the relation with Pakistan and China. Okay, he worked to build a better relation with our neighboring countries, that is Pakistan and China, and he wanted to decrease the power given to raw. Okay, because he believed that raw is actually working under the influence of Mrs. Gandhi. Okay, because raw was like raw always it was believed by him that raw's power should be decreased eventually. Okay, so this was all the thing what happened during Moraji Desai's government, and rest of the fact we discussed it in yesterday's class. Okay, so I told you that in yesterday's class there were like, even there was a person called Chaudhry Charan Singh. Okay, we'll discuss him in the next few slides. So there was a person called Raj Narayan. He is the same person I told you, Indira Nehru Gandhi versus Raj Narayan case. Okay, so the same person, he was highly in favor of Chaudhry Charan Singh. Okay, so all of these people had supported Janta government formed by Moraji Desai. So now Congress government Congress, basically certain leaders from the Congress, you can told Raj Narayan that if he take out the support from the Janta government, Chaudhry Charan Singh will be made prime minister. So they pulled out from the Janta government, and due to, on the trust vote, Moraji Desai resigned because he knew that he was not gonna clear the floor test. Okay, so next Chaudhry Charan Singh became the prime minister. He was prime minister just for 21 days, because after 21 days, what happened? There was a floor test, and then Congress government did not support the government, Chaudhry Charan Singh formed government. Okay, so hence president had to dissolve the house, because there was no person, party to claim the majority, or claim the majority. Then there was a fresh Lok Sabha elections which was taking place in 1980s. Okay, during this time again Indira wave had started. All of those issues of emergency and all that thing, Indira Gandhi started going to the rallies and rallies, and she started saying that everyone does make a mistake, and they agree that there, during emergency there was certain brutality, so certain things went wrong, and she asked for the forgiveness, and people of nation wholeheartedly started forgiving her. Okay, and during Janta government, immediately when the government took power, they did not arrest Indira Gandhi on the charges of corruption. Okay, but after a certain time, Indira Gandhi was arrested for the charges of corruption. So this created a sympathy towards Indira Gandhi in the minds of people of the country. Okay, so now Indira Gandhi's popularity is increasing. So now Indira Gandhi is even giving the slogan Garibi Hatalo instead of Indira Hatado. All of that was that kind of political development was taking place in the country. Okay, so that we have discussed already in detail in yesterday's class. Okay, so now then there was an election. Congress won 353 seats alone. Okay, plus alliance together they won 374 seats out of 542. Okay, so this was a majority which Congress government got in 1980s election. Okay, so then there was like Janta Party just won 31 seats, and Janta Secular won 41 seats. Okay, so even in the state level there was elections, and the Congress was coming back to the power. Okay, so during the same time there was something Operation Blue Star we discussed, which happened in Punjab. There was Akal Takht was damaged, and this created a kind of hatred, or you can say feeling kind of feeling among Sikhs about how the Operation Blue Star had taken place. Okay, because there was a lot of killing which took place during Operation Blue Star. Army was led to enter the Golden Temple. So all of this event created kind of not so good situation for Indira Gandhi. So it was even advised by the intelligence agency to the Indira Gandhi that please do not keep any Sikh bodyguards. But she told that she refused to do so because she told that if I do that, I would be giving wrong message out to the world. Okay, so eventually in 1984, she was assassinated by her own bodyguard. Okay, so this was the end of end of the tenure of tenure. This was the whole thing how Indira Gandhi's life went on. Okay, so what was the consequences after the assassination of Indira Gandhi? So this is like everyone must know what happened in India at that time. So please tell me, what was it? How was the situation? What was the situation of the region where the Sikh people resided? What happened? What happened? No one knows what happened. What happened? What is the consequence? What was the consequence? No idea. Okay, I know after the killing of assassination of Indira Gandhi, what happened was like there was she was one of the most cherished prime minister, you can say. People loved her so much. So same way there was assassination or there was large scale riots and killing of the Sikh people all over country. Okay, a lot of Sikh were killed in the in the same time, and it said that more than 2,800 Sikh people were killed and their houses were burnt and looted. Okay, that was the official account. It can be more than 2,800 for sure. Okay, but this was the situation. Okay, people started going or opting the violent way to just take revenge. Okay, a lot of Sikh people were killed, and this went on for 4-5 days. Okay, many Hindus also give refuge or give shelter to these Sikh people from the violent mob. Okay, so then next comes the era of Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, Rajiv Gandhi, you must have heard about Rajiv Gandhi. What do you know about Rajiv Gandhi?
He was assassinated by an LTTE sympathizer.
Okay, nothing other than that. What do you know about Rajiv Gandhi?
He went to China after this massacre.
Which
Yeah,
message?
Ma'am, he was professional by pilot.
Okay,
Pilot by professional.
okay, fine. Pilot by profession, and that's it. Okay, Rajiv Gandhi was son of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and he was not into politics. Okay, he was not much interested in politics. Basically, Sanjay Gandhi was very much involved in politics compared to Rajiv Gandhi. Rajiv Gandhi was living a separate life from politics. He was a pilot by profession, yes, and he had his own career in this field. Okay, so Rajiv Gandhi was brought into the politics due to the death of Sanjay Gandhi in 1980s. In 1980s, I told you in yesterday's class there was a plane crash, and and Rajiv Gandhi, sorry, Sanjay Gandhi had he lost his life. So after this, Indira Gandhi was broken because he was one of the close aide of Indira Gandhi. You can say he was a son, and he was more attached. Indira Gandhi was more attached to Sanjay Gandhi. So after the death of Sanjay Gandhi, there was a place left out. I mean, there was some kind of vacancy in the Congress or about successor of Indira Gandhi. So Rajiv Gandhi was brought into the picture. Okay, so he was not so interested in joining politics. He was little reluctant, but eventually he was convinced, and he contested election also from the Raebareli seat. Okay, sorry, Amethi seat. He contested elections as well. Okay, so eventually he won from that seat. Okay. Okay, and okay, he was even made in charge of Asian Games, okay, in New Delhi, which took place in 1982. He performed his duties well. Okay, so then eventually after the death of Indira Gandhi, he was he was the most preferred candidate to be a prime minister, and every person from the party supported this, because there was a lot of sympathy of people towards Rajiv Gandhi because of the loss he had faced. Okay, so he became the prime minister on 31st October 1985. Okay, so after the death of Indira Gandhi, he had a lot of responsibilities on his head, and he was young, charismatic leader. Okay, he was dynamic, and he was quite young, and he was he had that non-corrupt tag also on him. He was not corrupt, and he public had good image on him. Okay, so no, in the 1984 there was like elections. Okay, the house was dissolved quite a little earlier, a few months earlier, because of assassination of Indira Gandhi, and there was fresh election. In fresh election, what happened? Congress won 404 seat, one of the highest seats ever. Okay, Congress won 404 seat out of 514 seats. BJP won just 2 seats, and Janata government 10 seats. Okay, so that was the popularity, and that was the sympathy which was given to him by the people. Okay, till here is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the first, when Rajiv Gandhi came to power, the first things, okay, the first few things which he, started doing, the first few, am I fast?
No, ma'am, it's okay.
For everyone, it's okay?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am. No pause.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the certain initiatives were taken by him. Okay, so he was the person who promoted computerization or technology a lot. Okay, he believed that India missed on the industrial revolution. Okay, but now India have to get ready for the next century. It have to prepare itself. Okay, so he brought in a lot of initiatives. So please take out notebook and try and write it. Okay, please write down these things. When he became the prime minister, he first initially he gave focus on technological mission. Okay, he wanted to bring in technology, modern latest technology, and basically most important of his initiative was drinking water mission. Okay, drinking water mission. He during that time he wanted to provide drinking water to all the Indian villages. Okay, by then in 1980s 85, you can say, in 1985, mid 1980s, you can say only 1/5 of the less than 1/5 of the places or villages had a potable drinking water. So he wanted to bring this drinking water mission. Under this, he wanted to use satellites and geology and civil engineering and biochemistry for identifying, extracting and cleaning water. Okay, and supplying water. Okay, is it clear? Around
Ma'am,
6.
is it similar to the Jal Jeevan mission now?
Yeah, you can say har nal se jal or har ghar pani. That some concept is going on, no?
Yes, ma'am.
That providing drinking water, tap to drinking water to every household in the rural and urban area. What is that scheme?
Which one? Jal Jeevan mission?
Yeah, under that only there was some famous tag is given, no?
Har
Tagline.
Ghar Jal. So, Har Ghar
I'm so
Jal.
sorry, I don't remember that tagline, which is famous. I should have, but anyway. So kind of same. Okay, but this is I'm talking about. This is during Rajiv Gandhi's time. Yeah, there are a lot of programs which have come back, which had a comeback. Even even cleaning Ganga, we have emphasized so much, which was started during Rajiv Gandhi when Rajiv Gandhi was our prime minister. Okay, so a lot of things are going on like that. Around 6 major he when he became prime minister, he had 6 major missions. Okay, which we wanted to focused upon. First was providing that is drinking water mission. Under that, he wanted to use the discipline of geology. He wanted to use satellites. He wanted to use biochemistry to identify, to extract and clean the water and supply it. Okay, so second was literacy mission. Okay, illiteracy was one of the very big problem even after so many almost 40 plus years of independence. Yeah, only or you can say around 60 to 70% of the population is illiterate. Okay, we were in urgent need of providing literacy. Okay, so he promoted this use of televisions and networks in rural area and computerization, all of this thing. Next is third, you can write down immunization of pregnant women and children. Okay, he gave importance to immunize the pregnant women and children. Okay, this is basically to fight a lot of health hazards. You can say polio, such kind of diseases need immunization. Okay, so he started promoting that. And fourth is white revolution. What is white revolution? It is about milk production. Okay, to increase the milk production, to improve the milk yield and health of the cows and buffaloes. Okay, then the fifth mission was expanding edible oil production, because we used to import a lot of edible oil from we used to import from other nations. Okay, now Indira Gandhi government focused on increase the production of edible oil so that we can become self-sufficient. Okay, so that import bill can be reduced. And the sixth one is telephone. Okay, so even you must have heard that if you asked your parents when they were young, children used to get fascinated with that turning telephones. You must have seen in old movies and all. So all those started in this same era of Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, so telephone, he wanted to bring telephone to every village in the country so that there can be connectivity. So see, do you understand now? All of these programs are there even today, but it is different version, improved version, you can say, a better version. Now we wanted to right now we want to provide optical fiber cables, or you can say internet connectivity to the rural areas. Yes, have you heard this? We want to make every gram panchayati connected to the internet. Every rural area should be connected to the internet. Yes, all of this. Back then we started with a telephone. Okay, every village should have a telephone in the country. Now we have we want to give internet connectivity to every village. Okay, so now back then it was white revolution. Now we are speaking about evergreen, or all the type of revolution. We have come up with a lot of revolution. Even oil production. Okay, even now we have problem with edible oil. So even now we are trying to make India self-sufficient in edible oil production. So that even today we are dependent on imports in case of edible oil. So if all those programs, even now we are talking about immunization, that is towards COVID. Yes. So all of this is happening. This is a continuous process. Okay. Back then the priority was different. Right now the priority is different. Am I clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
So Rajiv Gandhi government, they started making India computerized. So what was the what was the result of this? What was the positive result and negativity of all of this? What was the criticism against this, and what was the positivity which was derived after this computerization of country? I mean India. Okay. BharatNet, yes, it's BharatNet. Okay, fine. What was it? What was this? See, one, there is criticism that in India we have enough over supply of labor. Okay, so computerization can reduce the employment opportunity. That was the conception which was theory which was given back then. And due to this computerization, now you can see that every office has computer. Okay, every public office has computer. So it was started during Rajiv Gandhi's time. Okay, he started bringing putting in computers in the public offices. Okay, so this was the development during the Rajiv Gandhi time. Okay, so then there was certain other development about Panchayati Raj. What is the development which took place in Rajiv Gandhi's tenure in Panchayati Raj? No idea. So okay, now the concept was strengthening local government institutions. Okay, he put forward, Rajiv Gandhi government put forward legislation to make Panchayati Raj elections mandatory and to give constitutional status to Panchayati Raj. Do we have constitutional status to Panchayati Raj right now? Do
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have it? What is it?
73rd and 74th Amendment.
Okay, and there was schedule also. There are two schedules for Panchayati Raj and municipality. Which are they? Schedule 11th and 12th. Okay, so this concept of constitutionalizing Panchayati Raj or making the elections mandatory in Panchayati Raj was put forward during Rajiv Gandhi's tenure itself. But no, this bill couldn't become an act because of certain reasons that it failed in Rajya Sabha. Okay, because Congress did not have majority in Rajya Sabha. Also, due to this, it failed in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so next is one of the other biggest program of Rajiv Gandhi was Jawaharlal Rozgar Yojana. Okay, it is Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Generation Program. Have you heard about it? MG Narega.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it? MG Narega is also about providing employment. So what is this Jawaharlal Rozgar Yojana? Under this scheme also, it was said that every member, at least one member of every rural poor household will get employment of at least 50 to 100 days in a year. Okay, so now I told you, now the programs are different because the priority has changed. Back then, this was one of the very good initiative which was taken up. And there was one more other thing which was promoted, that is new educational policy. Okay, just to create literacy, increase literacy rate and create. I told you back then, more than 60% of the population was illiterate. So now we bought it. Even Rajiv Gandhi government bought in new education policy. Okay, do we have new education policy even now? Do you know about 2020 education policy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
please read it together with this. Okay, just read it. What was there in this and what is there in that? Okay, so then there was some concept called Operation Blackboard. What is this Operation Blackboard? Have you heard about Operation Blackboard? Where is Blackboard used? Why is it used? Blackboard. What is the use of Blackboard?
Education.
Where education? Like okay, the Operation Blackboard, it actually aimed at providing amenities to the schools. Okay, because now we wanted to increase the literacy rate, better infrastructure. All of this started getting attention during Rajiv Gandhi's tenure. Okay, and there was something called. Have you heard about Navodaya Vidyalayas? Is there anyone who studied in Navodaya Vidyalayas?
I heard about it, ma'am.
Okay,
I
these
have
are
heard
like
about them.
residential schools or the schools. Okay, those are run by the government, you can say. So these kind of schools started coming up. Okay, Navodaya schools were promoted during the same tenure, and there was one more program which was called National Prospective Plan for Women. Are you guys writing down all of this? Because I may not be able to provide you with PPT soon.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
So we spoke about. See, we spoke about Indira Gandhi's death, anti-Sikh riots, and election of 1984. Okay. Okay, then we spoke about the sixth technology mission. What are the six technology mission? Please tell me fast, reply. Pankaj, Sneha, Vinita, please tell fast. What are those?
Ma'am, this establishment of PCOs, computerization in offices.
Okay. But the six missions I told you about, one is about water, one is literacy.
Ma'am gave importance on IT development, on industrial revolution, and then the third one was providing drinking water to Indian villages. Fourth one was immunization of pregnant women, then white revolution, then production of oil, and then telephones.
Yes, good. So all these are the six missions. Okay, please just try to remember the six missions. Okay. Okay. This is the just Okay, then there was other initiative that I already spoke about, the India computerization program. Under that, they started introducing computers in the public office and all that thing. The National Perspective Plan for Women was drafted in 1988. What is this National Perspective Plan? Have you heard about it? Have you heard about it? National Perspective Plan for Women. What is this? Okay, under this plan, the basic was to provide reservation for women in Panchayati Raj. Do we have reservations for women in Panchayati Raj? Right now, do we have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
reservation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So yes, so same thing. During 1988 itself, under this National Perspective Plan, we actually government actually gave a proposal to provide reservation to women. Okay, reservation up to 30%. Okay, it even spoke that overall around 50% of the functionaries should be women in grassroots. Okay, overall 50% of the functionaries should be women in grassroots. That's what they proposed. Okay, and one of the main important thing is around 30% reservation should be provided to the women in Panchayat Raj. Okay, these are the two important points you should remember under National Perspective Plan for Women. Okay, then next was, okay, there were certain laws related to dowry also. See, there was legislation was introduced to strengthen the punishment to dowry related offenses, okay, which happened in 1986 itself. Okay, this law was passed before the National Perspective Plan. Okay, there was one more concern about environment. Okay, have you heard about the certain programs need the environment clearance? Have you heard?
This EIA.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me what? Okay.
Ma'am, is it about EIA?
EIA. Nothing else. What is there in the EIA? Environmental assessment of impact assessment. So what is there? Do you know what is there in environmental impact assessment? It was so much in news in past few months. No, fast after for past few months, this was in news, a lot of news. Okay, you could have seen in the newspaper so many people were criticizing again the law of environmental impact assessment as diluted changes. Have you gone through this? Please go through this environmental impact assessment new changes which was bought in I think the last year. So read about it. So yeah, it was kind of the same. Okay, so under this concept of environmental protection, certain projects, okay, certain large scale project which could cause environmental damage had to be approved. Okay, approved from ministry was created for this. That ministry was known as Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Environment. Okay, so all the big projects had to compulsory, it was mandatory that they have to take approval from the Ministry of Environment. Okay, please read in detail about Ministry of Environment also. That's very important from environmental point of view. Please read it. Okay, so then even the when he participated in non-alignment summit, there also he started promoting about the importance of environment and protection of environment. Okay, till here is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's even during Rajiv Gandhi's tenure, what happened? There was a lot of importance given to the cultural programs. Okay, we wanted to spread Indian cultural traditional aspects or culture or art form to rest of the country. So around seven zonal, I think it was seven zonal cultural centers were established all over the world, where we were promoting our culture. Okay, our cultural things and programs. So we were making India's culture very very known to the world. Okay, so this gave a lot of fame to the Indian government, and even this was called to be a very good step. But some people even criticize it. It is like it's a Western kind of aspect or thought. Okay, so these kind of things were happening. Then due to computerization and due to the changes, there was more greater transparency which was started taking place in the country. There was transparency, and there was openness, there was accountability. Okay, so next basic main important thing is this anti-defection. Have you heard about anti-defection act? Do you
Yes, ma'am.
remember, do you know what is defection?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you heard about ayaram gayaram?
Yes, ma'am. This
Oh.
person changes his
Yeah,
party
so
around, like.
frequently. Okay, yeah, defection, that is defection. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so anti-defection was introduced and it was like it was passed in 1985 only. So under this anti-defection, that if a party want to merge with split or merge with some other party, it should be done by 1/3 members. Okay, if it is done by 1/3 members, then it was not defection. If it is done by less than 1/3 member, then it is called as defection. Okay, then if someone's found defecting, or if someone found an anti-defection act, then he will be suspended, or there will be expulsion of him from the house. Okay, and this is basically to check the tendency of horse trading and shifting the loyalty of from one party to other party. That is that ayaram gayaram. Okay, so what is horse trading? What is horse trading? What is horse trading? Please read about Anti-Defection Act in detail, and read about all of this certain things which are very common in newspaper. You must have heard a lot about these things in newspaper. Try to read about it. Try to read on your own. No one is going to teach you all of these things. So please have an idea about it. So yeah, Pankaj, you are telling something. What is horse trading?
Ma'am, it's horse trading is like after election, the ministers are maybe given bribed or something, and then dragged are taken to any other party, I guess.
Yeah, horse trading is basically it's just like taking money, and horse is traded, just for the money, changing the party and all of that thing. That is always in news. Even horse trading things are in news. Last year, last year or last year, Karnataka, such cases were coming up, and a lot of things are going on about it. So you should have a basic information knowledge about these things. Okay, so that you should do it on your own. Okay, am I clear? Okay, next is there was a consumer protection act was passed also. Okay, during same time they promoted lok adalats. Okay, have you heard about lok adalats? Lok adalats.
Yes, ma'am. It's for fast track dispute redressal in villages, because rural people cannot afford the cost of this high courts and courts.
Okay, yeah, it is basically alternative to dispute redressal. Okay, basically you can say disputes can be solved in the starting level itself due to lok adalat, because the Indian judiciary is overburdened with a lot of cases. There's pendency of cases, all of that. So to just reduce this burden and to provide justice at the earliest, because we have heard justice delayed is just like equal to justice denied. So to reduce all of this and burden on the judiciary, higher judiciary, lok adalats were promoted. Okay, this is very convenient to the local people also to participate, and the cost involved is also bare minimum. If you go to the courts and all, it will involve more cost, and it will take a lot of time. Okay, so here there can be amicable settlements, and all of that can take place. Okay, so this is about Jawaharlal Rozgar Yojana, that is to provide 50 to 100 days employment. Okay, there was I spoke about new education policy also. It focused on rural area and poor. Okay, the main was to provide literacy, literacy campaign, and Operation Blackboard, that is to provide basic amenities to the school and distance education. Okay, then Lok Adalats and Consumer Protection Acts were passed, and greater freedom was given to the media. Okay, so during this Rajiv Gandhi tenure only, media became very popular. Okay, watching television. So Ramayana started coming up, and so many such kind of serials and such kind of movies, Bollywood, all of that getting promoted, in a large scale. Okay, so TV became a part, television became a part of every person in the country. Okay, they promoted television, and people started engaging in this television, and it was kind of era, but there was a lot of changes. Certain things which were not so common to the people started becoming very common. Okay, just like television, telephones, all of those things started coming. So you can say there was the beginning of modern era. Okay, the modern century, we were just welcoming the modern the next century. Okay, so this is what happening. Okay, so television became very increasingly popular. Daily serials and all that started, Ramayana and all of that was started getting publishing very freely. Okay, so all of this took place during Rajiv Gandhi's tenure. Okay, till here, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubts? No doubts? Okay, so next we'll go about certain issues. Okay, when we speak about any government, when there is something positive, of course there are certain issues. Okay, every government faces issue. The tenure of Rajiv Gandhi in the beginning, like for almost like 16 to 18 months, very smooth. It's said to be honeymoon kind of period. Okay, so eventually things started getting out of hand, and that was like that's what led to the that's what led to the failure of Congress government to come into power in the next election. Okay, so first one, the basic issue was, let's discuss about Shah Bano case. Have you heard about Shah Bano case?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it about?
Ma'am, it was a revolutionary case against for the Muslim women against the Muslim law personal law board. The Shah Bano basically filed a complaint against her husband who gave her the triple talaq, and then she filed a case for her maintenance for herself and her.
Yeah, the famous triple talaq case
Yeah,
started
it's
here.
about triple talaq. Okay, okay. Shah Bano was married to a person called Ahmad Khan. Okay, Ahmad Khan, and they had together had around 5 children. Okay, so they were married for many years, and one fine day she was being divorced. Okay, on the triple talaq was given to her, and then she, without even giving any maintenance or anything, so she went to the Supreme Court demanding for maintenance of herself and her kids. Okay, from her husband, which was basically not she couldn't do that directly, because she was actually liable under the Muslim marriage act, or the religious they every religion has Hindu marriage act, Christian marriage, Muslim, so same way. Okay, so she referred to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court gave the judgment that Shah Bano is liable for alimony from her husband. Okay, so this created a kind of a problem in the it started becoming a small problem, and people start discussing about this issue, because basically Supreme Court went inside the personal laws. Okay, so at the same time, in the parliament, Rajiv Gandhi government passed an act. Okay, that is called, please write down, Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Divorce Act. Muslim Women's Protection of Rights on Divorce Act. Okay, that is basically it nullified the Supreme Court judgment. It said that she is liable for the compensation for 90 days, and after that she should be on her own. Okay, so something like that was spoken about, spoken in the parliament. So this created a kind of a huge problem, because the opposition party started blaming Rajiv Gandhi government, because he is trying to favor the Muslim side. Okay, Muslim vote bank. Okay, so same time what happened, was there was like a lot of other issues also going on, but this issue became a conflict between the personal law and the parliamentary law and Supreme Court judgment. All of this started coming together and mixing up. Okay. Okay, there was a person called Arif. Please write down these names. Okay, Arif Muhammad Khan. Okay, he was a he was a young secular leader under Rajiv Gandhi government. He was the one who gave strong opposition about why this Supreme Court judgment should be nullified and why the Muslim Women Protection Act should be brought in. Okay, but the other side opposition started saying that this law is actually basically interfering with the Supreme Court because it's nullifying the Supreme Court judgment. Okay, so now Rajiv Gandhi, first he had lost the favor of Muslims. Now he even lost the favor of Hindus. Okay, by bringing these changes. Okay, it was very conflicting time frame. Okay, so please read in detail about Shah Banu case. It's basically about triple talaq. And, this was one of the case why there was a downfall of Rajiv Gandhi government. Okay, then next is Bofors scam. Okay, what is Bofors scam?
Ma'am, a weapons scandal between India and Sweden by Congress.
Yeah, during
party
Congress
members.
Yes. During Congress time, what happened? There was a person called VP Singh. Have you heard about him? VP Singh. Have you heard about it? Him. Okay, VP Singh was finance minister during the same time. Okay, VP Singh was like he was a very good leader also. He was a prime minister. He was a finance minister, and he actually unveiled a lot of scams which is going on in the country. So he got to know that there are a lot of money of Indians kept in some foreign countries. Okay, so he hired a Fairfax, you can say, a private agency or detective agency where they found that there is sudden scams were going on. A lot of people like even Amitabh Bachchan was accused under this, and Nusil Wadia. Okay, he's owner of Bombay Dyeing, Ambani of Reliance. All of these people were accused of corruption or keeping the money overseas. Okay, same time the Bofors scandal started coming to the forefront. How VP Singh from Finance Ministry was transferred to Defense Ministry by Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, Rajiv Gandhi transferred him and made him defense minister, okay, from finance ministry, because basically it is said that Rajiv Gandhi was very close to Amitabh Bachchan and all of these industrialists, and eventually there was industrialists are the one who are funding the party. Okay, so there was a kind of a turmoil started emerging, and hence VP Singh was transferred from finance to defense ministry, and people started questioning. Okay, during this time the justification which was given was the need of the such capable leader to be in defense ministry is much more. Okay, so when he was in defense ministry, there was there was an order placed. Okay, okay, starting there was there was an allegation which started appearing in a Swedish radio only about that around 60 crores was paid to as a bribe to Indian officials and Congress party. Okay, so basically the contract was supposed to go to the France, but it went to the Swedish company for howitzer guns. Okay, so this was the scam. Okay, but when VP Singh asked the Swedish government to reduce the price because of certain reasons, so they said that they're already paying around 7 to 8% has the extra charges. Okay, so this led to VP Singh questioning about the corruption things in the defense. Okay, procurement of equipment. Okay, so this even led to this eventually led VP Singh to resign from the defense ministry post. Okay, so this even created suspicion or a big talk among the public that the person who was called Mr. Clean or Clean, he is that is Rajiv Gandhi, who was believed that he is not corrupt, maybe involved in corruption. Okay, people are now very familiar with the lower level corruption, but this higher level corruption raised serious questions. So the resignation of VP Singh became a very big incident, and it even said that maybe due to this corruption of the government, VP Singh has resigned. Okay, so his resignation was justified by the people themselves. Okay, so all of this happened. This put a serious blow on the image of Rajiv Gandhi. Now there was like a corruption case, and a lot of scandals were going on simultaneously. Okay, but when this corruption case was going on, one of the very good leadership quality shown by Rajiv Gandhi was there was failure of monsoon in 1987 itself. Okay, there was a severe drought, and this drought was handled very well by Rajiv Gandhi. It said that it was claimed that there was zero deaths recorded due to drought condition, but just a decade ago the deaths were in thousands. Okay, but now there was zero deaths, which took zero deaths was recorded due to the drought. Okay, drought was managed very well, and not a single life was lost. Okay, they were provided with people were provided with moving vehicles where the food is supplied, drinking water was given, and even there was a start of employment scheme. Okay, all of this started giving a little good impression, but people could not forget this buffer scandal, because this was very big scandal. Okay, so before this, what happened? Meanwhile, you can say simultaneously, in the Rajiv Gandhi tenure only, there was some big event, that was Bhopal gas tragedy. Have you heard about Bhopal gas tragedy?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened in Bhopal gas tragedy?
Ma'am, it was a major gas leak incident which happened in USIL, India,
Okay, which was that
in
gas?
Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh.
What's the name of that gas? Which gas was leaked?
Methyl isocyanate, ma'am.
Yes, good. Methyl isocyanate was leaked. Okay, so what was the consequences of this gas leak? What is the consequences? Why do we want to stop such kind of thing? This Bhopal gas tragedy, even people remember it today, because this was one of the greatest gas tragedy which occurred in India, in the history of India. Okay, so what was the consequences? What are the, even tell me, what are the consequences at present of this Bhopal gas tragedy? Do we see the consequences of Bhopal gas tragedy even today?
When genetic disability still continues in
Yes, there is a lot of
life.
disability. Yes, and neonatal deaths are there recorded. There is people say that even they have lung related disorders and issues. Because of the gas leak. Okay, so it has a long term consequences in the long term consequences. Okay, there was like around more than 3,700 deaths were recorded, but more than or close to 1 lakh people were affected due to this Bhopal gas leak tragedy. Okay, so this was there was a company called Union. Please write down these names. Okay, Union Carbide. Okay, Union Carbide. Okay, this was the factory which was run. No, there was a no in Bhopal. There was a factory run by Union Carbide. So this factory in Bhopal leaked the gases, that is methyl isocyanate. Okay, due to this, the big tragedy took place, and there were lost. A lot of deaths were lost. Okay, so this raised serious questions about our security of lives around the industrial areas. Okay, where these kind of industries and factories are located. Okay, next is Sri Lankan Civil War. What do you know about Sri Lankan Civil War? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about Sri Lankan Civil War?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you know
Yes,
about it?
ma'am.
The the Sinhalese made Buddhism the major religion, and Sinhala speaking community were preferred over Tamilians, and the Tamilians were discriminated against.
Yeah.
So the Tamilian took up a military faction against the Sinhalese, and the LTTE was formed. There was a there was war among the Sri Lankan forces and LTTE. Later, there was a huge amount of war crimes caused by the Sri Lankan army also.
So basically, this okay, when the video is on, is it more comfortable, or if I off the video, it's more comfortable?
Ma'am, it's okay if you off it also.
So basically, what happened in Sri Lanka, thousands. The problem started when thousands of Tamils from Sri Lanka had to leave Sri Lanka and move to Tamil Nadu. Okay, fled to Tamil Nadu. It happened in 1983. Okay, so when the in 1983 itself, when the Tamil government, okay, it launched a heavy repression. Okay, on Jaffna, that was a basically base of LTT. Have you heard about LTT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Jaffna was a base of LTT. Okay, recently there was a web series about that's called Family Man. Okay, so in that also this was there was like this issue was shown. Okay, so anyways, so basically the Sri Lankan government launched a heavy repression. Okay, it was in Jaffna where the LTT's base was there. Okay, so eventually people had to move out of this place, and even the food supplies. Okay, Sri Lankan government imposed blockade on Jaffna. This led to prevention of food supplies or daily necessities reaching the people of this region. Okay, so this basically in this Jaffna region, the people were Tamil version. Okay, Tamil people, Tamil Sri Lankans. So Indian government started sending supplies in the fish boat, and these fish boats were seized by the Tamil army. And then there was due to all of these reasons, Indian government started sending food through airlifting. Okay, airdropping. You can say dropping. We started dropping food, and along with this, we even transport. This planes transported certain Indian journalists and foreign journalists. Okay, so foreign nations could understand about what is happening in this region. Okay, so there was a kind of pressure on Sri Lankan government from the foreign countries. So eventually, Sri Lankan government thought that it's better to involve India in the matter, and we started. Okay, Indian government started a negotiation. Okay, Indian government and Sri Lankan government, which was led by Jayawardene, they started kind of negotiation. Okay, this negotiation led to accord in 1987 July. Okay, there was an accord signed between the Indian government and the Jayawardene government on 1987. Okay, under this accord, please note down all of this, and if I'm fast, please stop me. Okay, am I fast? Okay, so according to this accord, there are certain things were put in this accord. That is, one was northern and eastern provinces of Sri Lanka, where there were Tamil who were enjoying the majority, would be merged. Okay, this northern and eastern provinces would be merged and made into single province. Okay, the second was substantially reduce devolution of power, substantially devolution of power from the center to these regions. Okay, and then the third was LTT would be dissolved. Okay, eventually, and then the fourth clause in the accord was Indian army would aid Sri Lankan government if called by Sri Lankan government to solve this issue. Okay, so but this accord basically failed in great manner, because LTT was not signatory. Okay, the whole thing was discussed about LTT, but they were not signatory to this discussion. Okay, so LTT refused to accept this, and they continued with their armed events. Okay, armed activity. So eventually, eventually the Prema Das was replaced. Okay, or succeeded by Jayawardene. Jayawardene was succeeded, and the Prema Das came to the power. Okay, Prema Das asked the Indian army to withdraw from. Before this, all of this event, eventually the accord was failed, and LTT continued its mission. Okay, LTT continued its activity in the region. So the Indian army was called in to reduce this. Okay, to stop them. Okay, so but what happened? These fighters of LTT, they were very much well versed with guerrilla warfare, topography, and the region. Okay, they were very well aware of it. But the Indian army troops, they were not so comfortable with this region. Okay, they needed some time to understand the region, and they couldn't because these people, the LTT people of native of that region. Okay, so they understand the region and topography better than the outside forces. Okay, so there was a huge conflict in the region, and there was a lot of loss of deaths. Okay, so eventually Premadas was replaced by Jayavardhane. Jayavardhane was replaced, and then the Premadas ordered or asked the Indian government to withdraw from this. Okay, so Rajiv Gandhi government started withdrawing from this region, and the troops withdrew in the small groups. Okay, not immediately, but eventually troops were withdrew, and the complete withdrawal took place after the next election, simultaneous election. Okay, but all of this Sri Lankan civil war, cost a huge, lost Rajiv Gandhi, because he lost his life. Okay, because LTT was succeeded in assassinating Rajiv Gandhi, when he went to a rally in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so LTT was actually was able to assassinate two leaders. One was from Sri Lanka itself, and one was from India. Okay, so and eventually this organization was banned. Okay, so this is what happened in the Sri Lankan crisis. And during Sri Lankan civil war, a lot of people, troops from India, lost their life. Okay, so Rajiv Gandhi government was highly criticized, and when during this war there was a lot of brutalities which took place. So it is said that people, there was a lot of brutalities, and the government was being criticized from by the people of India in a large scale, because the atrocities was done towards Tamils of Tamils of Sri Lanka as well. Okay, so this was a whole instant how the Sri Lankan situation was there. Okay, so till here, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay, 1 sec. So okay, so after this, now we no, this was the whole tenure and how Rajiv Gandhi's government was functioning. Okay, but what happened? The Bofors scam was big thing. Okay, and people were talking about it for a long time, and even the political, even despite this good handling of droughts and certain good programs which brought in changes, a lot of changes in the and help people come out of the come out of poverty and all of this thing. But still, political opposition parties constantly spoke about this Bofors scam, and this Bofors scam had a huge impact on the next year election result. Okay, the next election which was conducted, Rajiv Gandhi government lost power. Okay, Rajiv Gandhi government was lost, and the new Janata government was formed. Okay, new government was formed, which was a coalition government. Okay, many governments came, many parties, political parties came together, opposition parties came together, and they formed the coalition government. That's called National Front government. Okay, it had during the this election. During this election, Congress won around 197 seats. Okay, it was not so bad, but then it didn't have enough number to form the government. But opposition parties came together and they could form the government. Okay, so then under this only VP Singh, who's VP Singh?
Under which Bofors scam?
Was unveiled. Yeah, no, it was put out in the public by VP Singh itself, because VP Singh, he was previously finance minister, then he was defense minister. Okay, VP Singh's, under VP Singh's government, under VP Singh's prime ministership, new government came into power. Okay, that's called National Front government, which which was in power for quite a short time, you can say, and VP Singh was a prime minister. Okay, so basically what happened, we after coming into power, VP Singh went to a Golden Temple. Okay, he went there without much security and all that. He started. He drove around in and around in the jeep of Golden Temple. Okay, to show that how different and how different he is from Rajiv Gandhi, and this made a very big noise also. Like how Congress was trying to just focus on themselves, and all of those things were spoken due to during this rally. Okay, so this Janta government, which came into power, National Front government. I'm so sorry, National Front government, which came into power, it did not last longer. Okay, I told you the coalition government. The problem is the internal conflict. Okay, so here also you can see that there was internal conflict in the party. That is basically a lot of claims for prime ministership. Okay, because a lot of parties came together and formed it. So every party was claiming, every party has their own prime ministerial candidate. Okay, so there was an internal conflict arising. Every person wanted to remove one more person, the person who is the prime minister. So there was no unity. Okay, and there was even ideological differences and all of those involved. And there was second one biggest thing was there was corruption charges. Even to the National Front government also started facing corruption charges. Okay, and there was what happened, the situation in Kashmir was also not that great. So hence under VP Singh made George Fernandez as a head of Kashmir Affair Committee. Okay, but even though this committee was set up, there was no much advice taken from this committee. Okay, so there were a lot of stakeholders involved there and a lot of people simultaneously working outside this committee. Okay, so there was something called Mandal Commission. Have you heard about Mandal Commission?
Yes, ma'am. OBC
Yes, ma'am.
status.
Yes, OBC status. Yeah. Then anything else about Mandal Commission? What was its recommendation?
27% of reservation.
27%. Okay. So next is about Mandal Commission. Okay, we'll talk about Mandal Commission very briefly. See, now the VP Singh government thought that it should implement the recommendation of Mandal Commission. Okay, the Mandal Commission had given its recommendation during Mrs. Gandhi's tenure only, but now VP Singh thought that it's time to implement Mandal Commission recommendation. Okay, so basically, Mandal Commission, this commission was appointed during Janta government. Okay, but when Indira Gandhi came in third term, that is 1980s. So this time the report was given, but Indira Gandhi did not implement it. But now the VP Singh government planned of implementing it. Under this, what are the recommendations? First recommendation, the 27% reservation. Okay, 27% reservation should be given to the backward classes. Okay, to the backward classes. Okay, this was basically in addition to there was 22.5% reservation. Okay, for was given to reserved category, that is scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. There was already 22% reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Now they are speaking about 27% reservation to the backward classes. So this led to around 40. How many percent? 49.5% total reservation. Yes. So what is the consequences of this 27% reservation to backward classes? Plus, there was one more thing, that this reservation will be given in reservation in promotion plus in education institutions. Okay, so these two things were also added. Okay, so what was the consequences of this 27% reservation?
Protest all India wide.
Yeah, protest. Okay, that comes with, first thing comes with any kind of reservation, any changes is protest. Okay, so protest started taking place in many regions. Okay, because now people believe that those people who are studying really hard and preparing for government services, where they are not paying any money, but they are going on competitive basis, their chances would be reduced. Okay, because of reservation. Okay, rather than saying this should be the thing for the upliftment and providing equality to all, this was seen as a threat. Okay, threat by the dominant classes. Okay, so Okay, can you just write down these points that Mandal Commission, reservations, all of that thing?
Yes, sir, ma'am. Wrote, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. During this, during this Mandal Commission's report, and there was a protest going on, some sociologists pointed out that the method of identifying backward classes was outdated. Okay, the way the backward classes are now identified, those is outdated because after Green Revolution and after land reforms, many people got benefited out of Green Revolution and land reform. Okay, it was very not so right to give the special treatment just on the grounds of backwardness, but there should be other criteria which should be seen upon. Okay, so the dominant caste thought that their importance or their chances into getting into government services, all of that things will reduce. Okay, so that was thing, and then there was other problem that this actually did not create social justice, but the caste based system increased after this reservation, because this was not seen as a method of providing social justice, but it gave a platform where people started caste creating a caste difference among themselves, and putting themselves in the reservation quota. Okay, so even today we can see that there are a lot of fights going on all in many regions, like even Jats demanding reservation, Marathi people or want reservation. All of this are now reservation has become a very big political event. Even now we have 10% reservation for economically weaker section. All of this reservation has become a part and parcel of it, our system after this Mandal Commission. Okay, and this was not seen as a good step to provide upliftment of those people who are actually in need. Okay, but yeah, there is the method which was used to identify these were flawed. Okay, is it understandable? Is it clear? Is there any doubts?
It's clear, ma'am.
Okay, so what's the time? Okay, so anyways, the next thing, we have now spoken about Rajiv Gandhi tenure, Indira Gandhi tenure. Okay, so I'm just curious if you have any questions. Okay, please ask me any questions if there are, and I hope you understood till here. Okay, so next would be like a very big political turmoil, which will take me quite a long time. So I would prefer explaining it in the next class. Okay, so till here, is there any doubts? Is there any doubts? Any confusion?
No doubts, ma'am.
Everything is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyway, so we shall end today's class here only. From here on, from the next class, we will see other details. That is like, that is about like Shekhar government, what was the situation, and about other factors like what are the financial crisis, PV Narasimha Rao government, all of those things. So are you now aware of who are the prime minister? Can you just understand what is the chronology? Who came after who? Can you do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me, who was the first one? Who's first prime minister?
Jawaharlal
Nehru.
Nehru.
Okay, next.
Then Shastri.
Mm-hmm.
Then Indira Gandhi.
Okay.
In between, there was Morarji Desai, but Indira Gandhi was re-elected for the third time.
Okay.
And then Rajiv Gandhi.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, today we discussed the National Front government by VP Singh.
Okay, good. So now do you remember? And do you remember how the event took place? Like everything clearly, like what happened during Nehru time, the organization of the states, and how the Nehru and Sardar Patel equation was. So from there, the next Lal Bahadur Shastri, what was his step? India Pakistan war, India China war, and then how Mrs. Gandhi started taking over, and how her system was emergency. Then after her death, it was Rajiv Gandhi. After what he lost because of the scam, Bofo scam. After that, VP Singh. After that, the next government. Do you understand how it is?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
So it's clear, right? The post independence. See, if you remember, if you know post independence, independence, it will be very easy for you to understand current developments. Okay, so I hope you understood till here. So thank you so much for your participation, and I'll see you in the next class. We'll continue from here. Okay,
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Take care, ma'am. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.